Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jill, and we're HipStrings.
Welcome to day 2 of the Base12 Spinalong for 2025.
Now at 8 p.m., which is...
Now at 8 p.m.
And for the rest of the days at 8 p.m.
Yes. Not going to change it again?
No.
Okay, good.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
I think the schedule is clear.
Okay. All right, so, any starting words or
well,
do you wanna...
I brought some past things because we always talk about what to do with this.
Okay.
So you take that one. Oh shoot, I forgot the matching one for that one.
So we'll just show this one.
Okay, there was 1 year Nick and I both did a. Oh God. I'm forgetting the pattern. Night Shift.
There you go.
By Andrew Mowry. This is mine because I always do chain ply. And I did my base 12 as the contrast, and I used a mill spun for the main color and got a huge shawl. Nick used his barber pulled one for, I don't have it.
No, I know, I was looking for my tea.
For the main color, and used the same mill spun for the contrast. And your shawl's a little bit smaller than mine. Your gauge is also tighter.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Is that the one where I won the yarn chicken, or was that a different one? It was a different one.
That was a different one. That was this one.
That's this one.
That's this one. So. But I didn't weave in the ends on this one.
Where's the one that you weave? Okay, maybe.
I don't know. This is one of Nick's. I cannot tell you the year. But this is the Everyday Desk Shawl by Kate Atherley, which was a free pattern she posted on Instagram. But she has a booklet now that is a variety of very different variations on a theme that came from this pattern. And they're great because it's knit until you use up all your yarn.
And this is one you heard us banter a little bit just a couple seconds ago. I won yarn chicken. You can see this is how much I had left at the end. And this is all stuff spinning from base 12, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah. When Nick wins at yarn chicken, he dislikes me weaving in the last end.
Yeah, because I want to show it off. I want to, you know.
So, and then I have not washed and blocked this one. It is fresh off the needles. This is from the colored pencils year. And I added a yarn at the beginning and the end that are not base 12, just to make it a little bit bigger.
But everything from here to here.
Yeah, the light blue to the dark blue. Yeah. And this is Pagona by Stephen West, which is another good shawl for, knit until you run out of yarn.
Yeah.
Because you just set up the structure. And I like this shape. It drapes really well. So that's, I think all of our finished base 12s have become shawls. And
you can tell, shawls are great things for base 12. But that's not the only thing you can do, right? We
have attempted doing them as colorwork yokes.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the aforementioned Nick knitting a lace weight colorwork, all over colorwork sweater.
Yeah.
Which, a couple months in, figured out this is not a great idea.
My audacity was a little bit too much.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
Yeah.
Where's my die?
Where's my bag? Because I think this is the day that. Yeah. So day 2 is Rumpelstiltskin, which is one of the Mythology signature blends. All the Mythology signature blends are the same fiber content. So they are 50% merino, 25% Shetland, 12.5% Tussa silk, and 12.5% sari silk. So again, a little bit of texture. But these are my favorite tweedy blends I make.
And I did not get either day 1 or day 2, so you don't get to know what I'm doing.
Nick continues to be an enigma.
And I have my lovely twist lock.
Yeah, which
It has kept my twist wonderfully.
it has. It did a really good job.
There we go. I almost just chucked that on the ground. All right. By the way, we have Heather saying hi. We have Crankycraft saying hi. Heather saying, I have good luck at Yarn Chicken.
Nick has lots of good luck. For most things.
Yeah, I've got great luck.
For most things.
Laura says, hi all. JM Knitter says, day 2 with a star emoji. Diane says, hi, love both your sweaters.
We'll talk about the sweater.
Okay. And then before you get in that, JM Knitter says, well, maybe a sweater, a pint of this golden day 2.
Yes.
Amy Hughes says, hiya, I got my Base12 bag open today and started on my Sparrow. JM Knitter says, typos, ugh, sweaters worth of the golden fiber. There you go.
So our sweaters.
Yeah.
I am wearing a flax from Tin Can Knits that I made using 2 fingering weight yarns held double to get, the kind of, to get gauge. One of the yarns is a wool Miza, solid, like eggplant color. And then the the other is a hand spun from a dear friend, which was very bright colors.
Yeah. So it's a great way to mute it down. And
yeah.
Yeah.
And then what Nick is wearing is one of my first mashup spins. So if you go into our YouTube channel, there are live streams posted called the Great Mashup Spinalong. And it's my process for how I put together mashups and combine stuff from stash for large sweater projects. And so his is mostly Falkland and Rambouillet and Targhee, so all kind of similar wools, spun in about 1/8 ounce chunks. I also wrote a ply article that I think in the consistency issue about combining fibers for consistency, which talks about this kind of philosophy of mashups. Spun a whole bunch of yarn, and the pattern is an Elizabeth Zimmerman seamless hybrid. So it has a saddle shoulder.
What's great is that you spun up enough that you were able to make a little one for one of our kids.
Which they are now all grown up.
Yeah, well, they're too big for it.
But every now and then we have promotional photos that I use that are Nick and Chris in their matching sweaters.
It's adorable. I love it so much. Yeah, one of these days you're going to have to wear a sweater that I knit for you.
I will.
Because typically, it is rare you find me knitting anything for myself. I will mostly knit for Joe.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that I've knit for myself. The Star Wars sweater and the sweater I just finished when I was in the hospital. But most of the stuff I knit for other people. So.
And I don't often knit for myself either. I often knit for you.
Well.
Or other people.
The percentage of what you knit for yourself is probably about the same as the percentage of what I knit for myself. However, the overall quantity is significant of what you knit is significantly higher.
I do knit a lot more than you do.
Yeah. Although I am knitting a lot more now that...
You finished a sweater during chemo.
I did.
And you're working on a very long cowl for Gab.
Yep. Which I am about to change to another color, which has me super excited.
That's almost the halfway point. Aren't there... How many colors are there? Are there 5 or 6?
Once I finish the third color, I think there's 6. Oh no, maybe there's 5.
I thought there were 5 colors, so...
So this was a kit, by the way. Which...
From Kara Delaney.
Yep. That had 1 solid color yarn and 1...
gradient.
It's not a gradient. It's a...
Long self-striping. No repeats.
Yeah. And one of the um, very fascinating things of it was that the first color in the multicolored yarn was nearly exactly the same color as the solid. And so for the longest time, I'm like, I should be able to use the color change as the indication of when to change the knit stitches, what to slip and what to knit. And I just couldn't get there because it was the same color. It was different fibers, so there was a little bit of difference in sheen, but it took a while to really
Train your eye to tell the difference.
Yeah. I think I ended up going mostly by feel. But then I changed color. It was super exciting. I get lots of compliments when I'm working on it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I did want to bring up is that I don't want, I mentioned yesterday the elephant in the room and whatnot, and then skipped very quickly over onto other things. I don't want people to feel like, they can't ask questions or whatever. I don't want people to be bummed out. I don't want people to feel sorry for me at this time. This is a time for spinning Base12 and having fun. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It is a part of my life now, this cancer thing. So
Unfortunately.
So JM Knitter saves me with the spinning question. Is it just me or others having to slow down tonight with day 2? Maybe it's a pot of coffee I had an hour ago. The prep is divine.
So I find that this blend does require me to slow it down, and I'm actually very tempted to turn down the speed on my A spinner tonight. I have to slow down in order to deal with the slubs from the sari silk. Either to draft them out or rip them out. What I find helps when spinning this, the Mythology signature blends, is pulling it, either stripping it lengthwise to kind of open it up, or pulling it through a diz to introduce more air and open it up. And that makes it...
Well, you have a diz here.
I do, but that would give you an advantage.
Well, I will stop and take a bite of my cookie in the meantime.
So I got a diz.
Here we go.
Shameless self-promotion. A diz I have not, taken the paper backing off from lasering. And when I sell dizzes, they also come with threaders, because I find it easier to get the fiber through the hole. Unlike some people, I don't like to play on hard mode. And so I've already stripped this lengthwise, so that's not effective. So I'm going to go through a smaller hole.
There you go. While you're doing that, Amy says, by the way, Nick, it's honestly just good to see your face. Glad you can join us for Base12 again. Me too.
Yeah, we had to make backup plans in case he wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, well, and there may be days that I'm not able to, so
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm just it's kind of like pre-drafting, but
So draft and pull through, draft
the
and pull
hole kind of makes sure that you're doing more of a consistent diameter.
But the key thing is you don't just pull the entire thing
Yeah, and
through.
I don't pull from this side unless I've already opened it up. The actual drafting comes from my left hand.
Diane notes that she is slowing down as well. Becky says, I divided it in 2 and put it through a diz.
See?
Laura Linneman says, I've been spinning 24 ounces of the Influencer blend, and I've had to slow down with that as well because of the sari silk.
Yeah.
And Red says, threaders are the key, very helpful.
Yeah. But basically any tweed, any really textured, unless your texture is very fine and small like the silk noil was yesterday, you're almost always going to need to slow down because it always affects your ability to draft.
Yeah. And whenever you change anything on your wheel,
What?
Check your gauge.
Yeah, I was going. You just want me to keep stopping.
No,
because I beat you
I'm
last
not
night.
saying you need to check your gauge. I'm saying our audience needs to check their gauge.
So I am also spinning a little bit thicker than yesterday. So I need to.
Lipstick Lawyer says it's important for my hole to be a consistent diameter. I don't know if that's a pregnancy joke or.
I don't know, but for drafting, it's important for your fiber to be a consistent density and volume.
I mean, I thought we were going to go down the path of different tools for your holes, but
no, not tonight.
Incidentally, I did have to slow down as well, but not because of the fiber, but because Jill was chastising me for having overspun my single yesterday. So.
Well, did you adjust your? You
Yeah.
slowed down your wheel?
Yeah.
Yes. That's the way.
That's what I said. I slowed down. I feel like you need to be patting me on the head or something.
I would, but that would require me to stop yet again.
Very true. And JM Knitter says, Santa, bring me a Diz. Okay, so I brought my cookie down specifically.
Yes, to show off.
To show off the bright blue cookie. I mean, it's not really bright blue, I guess. It's more of a deep ocean blue.
Yeah.
Because
matches
Gab
your
and
fiber.
It does. Gab and I had fun this morning making blue food in preparation to watch the new episodes of season 2 of Percy Jackson, which they aired, I think, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's when they were available for streaming, but we wanted to watch them together as a family, so.
And everybody was busy.
And, well, not everybody, but at least one person at a
Yes.
time was busy.
Yes.
So we finally got to do that this morning, and oh my God, Gab made these giant cookies.
Mm-hmm. And blue pancakes and blue lemonade.
I made the blue pancakes.
Okay.
And then Gab made some very blue lemonade.
Very blue.
Do you know why it was that blue?
Why was it that blue?
Gab was like, "Oh yeah, purple is gonna turn blue when it hits something acidic," and I'm like, "Are you sure about that? That just should be the butterfly pea."
Yeah, powder.
Powder.
Does Gab have some secret knowledge that we don't?
So Gab went and filled the lemonade that they made with purple.
Yeah.
And it very much stayed purple.
So they must have been remembering the butterfly pea powder.
So then I was like, do you want to add butterfly pea powder to it? And they're like, no. And they added some of the blue dye, and oh my God, it turned into this electric blue.
It was like Cherenkov radiation blue.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. So if you guys ever want to pump up a food dye blue, add purple to it.
I mean, I add purple to some of my blues to punch them up.
There you go. Joanne says, I split day 2 by 4 and backed off on my break tension.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning to spin all of this long draw. Did some color editing, arranged all the days to make a 3-ply. And Laurel Lenneman notes the Percy Jackson Sea of Monsters. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So much better than the movies.
What movies? What are you talking about?
They never made those.
You mean the musical? The musical's great, but it doesn't cover Sea of Monsters.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, we're kind of Percy Jackson nerds. Earlier today, I was wearing my my homemade Camp Half-Blood shirt.
You got a second ride on Space Mountain once for riding
right.
Camp Half-Blood shirts at Disney.
That's right. The whole family. We were in Disney World, right?
Yeah,
Just
we were in
Disney
Magic
World.
Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom. And you know, because Percy Jackson's Disney property, and this was even before the show was announced.
I think they had just secured rights.
No, they'd always had the rights because
they did?
They had the rights for the books.
Oh, okay.
All of our books say Disney on the back.
Oh.
which is weird. Anyways, so we were hoping to at least see Hercules or something and give him a hard time. We didn't, but we were on Space Mountain, and as we're getting off the ride, one of the attendants,
The write-up, you know.
one of the ride operators comes up to us and says, "You want to ride again?" We're like, "Yeah." He says, "Follow me," and he escorts the three of us like back around to the front of the line, and as we're going, he says, "Us half, excuse me, us half-bloods need to stick together." So if you aren't familiar with the series, half-bloods are the term for the
Demigods.
the
Children
demigods.
of the Greek gods.
Yeah.
In modern life.
So yeah, it was pretty funny. The kids loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not remembering that wrong. They're called half-bloods, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Camp Half-Blood.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why I had a brain fart there for a second. By the way, Laura says, Rick would agree those movies don't exist. Lipstick Lawyer says, Nick, I love your glasses. Thank you. I've had them for about a year now.
Yeah.
Got them off Zenny. I have all sorts of different colors. I was very tempted to buy some more. They're super cheap. Like, with lenses, what, they were like $40?
Yeah,
$50?
something like that. Because you are not blind like some of us.
No, but these are like the high index and everything, and I didn't have to use insurance or anything.
Dear, I have priced myself on Zenny. My prescription is like costs twice as much as yours.
Okay, sure. But then you could also use insurance, so. Anyway, the other nice thing about these glasses is that they're super bendy. So like, I don't have to worry about it so much anymore, but when the kids were younger, definitely had to have durable glasses because they would get stepped on all the time.
Or knocked off your face.
Or knocked off my face, or hit in the face with a soccer ball or something. Amy says, love all the Rick Riordan books. I need to catch up on the Trials of Apollo. Laura noted Disney Publishing. He also has his own imprint. Highly recommend the Tristan Strong books as well.
I think Gab has some of them. Gab has like all everything, and also like the Rick Riordan Presents books.
No, not all of those. Gab has
not all of those, but
one or two of those, but
several. They have like they have the Magnus Chase. They have the Egyptian series.
Yeah, I mean Gab has all the Rick Riordan written books.
Yeah.
Magnus Chase is Rick Riordan. So
yeah.
is
but there is one that's not. It's a Rick Riordan Presents.
There was supposed to be a Netflix movie of the Egyptian one.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I don't know if that is now defunct or not. Lipstick Lawyer says, can you talk about your drafts? Each of you have very short drafting styles.
So we're both doing what I would classify as a point of contact draft. Some people would call it a short forward with twist in the drafting zone, which is way too many words. So I call it a point of contact. What it is basically you're letting twist into your draft, but you're not really letting it into your fiber supply. So that like twist is riding the very tip of your fiber supply. Whereas a long draw, you could actually feel the twist build up in your fiber supply. And your hands are less than a staple lengths apart, like you would for a worsted. But because you are putting twist into that draft, it traps more air into the thing. It's not as smooth or as dense as a full worsted draft. And this is my default way that I spin. I actually have to concentrate really hard to spin worsted. I spin either a point of contact or various forms of long draw.
Jill tells me I spin weird.
You're not even spinning your weirdest way.
Well, I started doing it once people paid attention to it. where I go like this.
Yeah, the right angle bit, and yeah.
So do you want to do the color commentary on it?
Yeah, so Nick does a, like, I've heard it referred to as spinning around the post. So twist doesn't like to travel around corners or like friction points. So you can stop the twist by like putting it 90 degrees and control it that way. But also at the same time, Nick will roll. So he'll let the twist get a little bit more into his fiber supply than I would. But he rolls the fiber in the opposite direction between his pointer finger and thumb to kind of untwist it so that it'll draft easier.
Yeah.
And then more twist gets added in. I create like a gradient of twist because I use my front pointer and my thumb as my gatekeepers for twist, as my like pinching fingers, and they control how much twist I let into thing. And then I use my ring finger to actually draft. I apply tension to my single, and that pulls the fiber out of my fiber supply into my drafting triangle. So there's a lot more twist ahead of my forward hand than there is in my drafting zone. Whereas a long draw, you would not you would have about the same twist along the entire single, whether or not you were doing a supported long draw or a one-handed long draw. So it is different. It's somewhere on the spectrum between a full worsted and a full woolen. So it's a semi worsted or semi woolen draft.
Well, and then now you can go into your whole description on the fact that there is nobody ever does a fully woolen or fully worsted spin.
No, people do, but that's not usually the default. And I have an opinion that
I'm trying to get you in trouble here. Go
on. You are trying to get me in trouble. Putting words in my mouth. I actually don't think true worsted is very good for most forms of knitting. For knitting yarns, I think it's really great if you're making warp or if you're spinning for lace. It has its utility, but I don't necessarily think it makes a great knitting yarn for like garments, because I think you need a little bit of loft and air trapped in your single. So your yarn has elasticity and give. So I prefer a semi yarn for knitting.
But talk about the full spectrum though. That
Well, like full spectrum. So full worsted would be hand combed, freshly hand combed top, and making sure it's all the same staple length. You do not let any twist into the drafting triangle, and you smooth down. Smoothing down is how you make sure that there's no twist in that drafting triangle. So you create a very dense, smooth yarn when you spin worsted. Woolen would be from a carded prep, preferably from fleece, with hand cards into like rolags or a bat, and would be kind of either a single handed long draw or like double drafted. And so there you have a lot of air trapped in your single, and you rely on plying to give the yarn structure and durability. And that's great for when you want something that has a very like high grist, so it's not very dense, it's lightweight. It traps a lot of air. Woolen yarns are warmer than worsted yarns for garments.
Okay, but those are the ends. So
Those
how
are
do you
the
get
ends.
a spectrum in between there?
Well, it's how much twist are you letting in? How much smoothing are you doing?
There you go.
How dense is your fiber supply? Like, your fiber supply has to have a lot of air in it for woolen. You really got to make that twist work to find other fibers to grab. Worsted twist isn't affecting your drafting because you're not letting it affect your draft. So you can work with a more dense fiber supply. Just a more dense fiber supply is harder to draft.
All right, I should catch up on the text here. So Laura said, by the way, to close things up, Tristan Strong is West African mythology.
Okay.
It's a cartoon version of Red Pyramid. The Netflix thing was going to be a cartoon version of Red Pyramid. Red says point of contact makes for nice semi-yarn.
Yep.
Vanity Bean says, okay, I do the rolling thing with my thumb and side of my forefinger to control my twist too. So see, I'm not that weird.
No, you're not that weird. But I have never seen that described in a spinning book.
Yeah? Well, I guess you need to write one.
I guess I need to write one.
Natalie says, holy moly, I got caught up in watching and forgot to move my guide. Oof. And also, Natalie does do the rolling thing.
Well, the amazing thing was I started teaching a point of contact class. And it turned out that like half of my students, that's what their default was. They just knew they didn't spin like what other people, like they're like, I know I don't spin short forward exactly, but it's not long draw. So half of them were already doing it.
There you go. Red says, as a default worsted lace spinner, I absolutely agree that true worsted has limited applications. No twist and smoothing for the win. Some of us need to work on that one-handed woolen. And, go ahead.
I'm going to say, like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I've got to master one-handed woolen. Honestly, unless you're spinning on like commission and you're being asked to spin it specifically, I think it does make a slight difference in the yarn you get, but I feel like it's a sometimes thing. Like, it is not, you don't have to master one-handed woolen to be a good spinner.
I feel like it's a great party trick.
It is a great party trick.
And especially because you can hold on to your drink.
Well, yes, and I can do it for like 5 minutes, but then I want to stop. I can demo it. Would I spin an entire project that way? Highly unlikely. I like having more control. And so I do double drafting, or I mostly do supported long draw so that I have a little bit more control.
Crankercraft says, the volume of knowledge I've absorbed from y'all via osmosis constantly amazes me. Red says, it's good to have a new term for what so many people do. I've been spreading point of contact around here. And Donna says, I'm finding that my default with this fiber is double draft. Love the color, by the way. It looks great next to day one. Yep.
Double drafting is a great way to deal with when your fiber supply isn't regular. So if you have a lot of texture, you have slubs, or I've even run into like carded roving that's not necessarily uniform density. And double drafting is a great way to deal with that.
Okay, so help me out. What is double drafting?
I am not going to demo it right now.
You can just describe it. I'm not asking you to stop and demo it.
Demo it is when you you allow your...
not demo it?
Usually you do it with a supported long draw. So you have both hands on your fiber. You have a forward hand and a backhand. Backhand is supporting your fiber. And the forward hand is working on already spun single. And is usually, maybe within a foot of your orifice. And so it can provide a little bit extra pull than the take up from your wheel. Because usually to do a double draft, you want light take-up.
Okay.
Because you want to have control over how quickly that twist is going into your fiber supply, and take-up plays a big role in how twist travels. Sure. So with double drafting, you can let like kind of initially form a fairly loosely spun single that has some slubs in it. Mm-hmm. And then you have to usually work pretty far away from your orifice. Double drafting usually works best with like an E-spinners off to your side or a Saxony style wheel where the orifice is off to your side instead of right in front of you. And then you've got some time to work to kind of use the play between your two hands to pull out those slubs. And you might like unroll them like what you do to get twist to be able to travel into those slubs. And so you kind of spend some time working and letting the twist gradually build up in your single. So that's usually how I spin cotton. Cotton usually is spun with a double draft and other short stapled fibers.
You'll have to demonstrate. I'm not completely visualizing it, but I mean, don't demonstrate now, but...
Yes.
All right. Nitty Bean says, I need to sort out a way to do a long draw seated in my wheelchair with my limited shoulder mobility. I'm sure there's a way, I just haven't found it
yet. Usually the stuff with that, if you're spinning on an E-spinner, most of the time I spin on an E-spinner, my E-spinner is not in front of me like it is tonight. It is usually off to my right. So when I spin long draw, I spin right hand forward instead of left hand forward. I'm an ambidextrous spinner, and I will switch hands depending on, how I feel. So my right hand will be closest to the wheel, and that is my forward hand. And then my left hand will handle my fiber, and that can be, and so those hands can be kind of shoulder distance apart. So you're in a very relaxed posture that doesn't require a lot of work. And you shouldn't actually be like, your shoulders should be able to stay still. There's not the big like movements. I think some people show off sometimes with really big movements, but for ergonomics and for productivity and efficiency, you always want to try to make as small movements as possible.
And then it be notes, I spin right hand forward with it off to my right, about a foot away.
Yep. This is the way?
This is the way. Ooh, there's a big slub there.
Big chunk of, yeah, that slub just goes away on the floor. Not all fiber in your top has to show up in your yarn.
What are you talking about? I bought those ounces. I'm going to use them.
Oh, this is so what I, in class, I'm like, throw this, like if something's troubling you, if there's like a nep, like a big slub you don't like, pull it out, throw it on the floor. If you really think you're wasting fiber, I challenge you to collect all that nonsense at the end of your spin and weigh it. And you'll find out that, maybe you lost a gram or two, which in the long run is nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll regret it when you actually work with your yarn and you show up and you see that big slub that you didn't like. You'll wish you had just tossed it.
Well, I guess you're done.
2 nights in a row.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're out of practice.
I am. I told you, your E-spinner is giving you an unfair advantage.
It is not giving me an unfair advantage. I don't even have it at max speed. Oh, I forgot to grab the spinning surface. Oh well, surprise for tomorrow night.
That's true. By the way, the Nitty Bean says, I will try it with smaller movements and see how I fare. One of the things you mentioned you wanted to talk about.
And smaller stretches of time. Like, if you are getting any sort of muscle fatigue, like, stop before it starts to hurt. And just do it every day. I'm trying to find a spinning bowl. There's got to be one around here.
Somewhere under here. Somewhere within the length of your...
Within the reach of my arms.
I was going to say within the reach of your microphone cord. There's one. No, it's not. Never mind.
There's one at the bottom here.
Oh, careful. You're going to get stabbed.
There's not really sharp spindles in here. Oh, okay. There are. I'm a liar.
Red asks, Jill, can you tell us more about your Winterfest classes?
So Winterfest classes,
they're all sold out now, right? Except for one?
there's one that still has seats available. That's
Talk about that one
Understanding
first.
Blends. Well, I was talking about it a little bit last night, but I'll talk more. So obviously I am a spinner who loves working with blends. I rarely spin with something that is 100% one thing, especially when it comes to wools. And so what we're going to be doing in that class is you are getting a fiber kit, or purchasing a fiber kit that contains some Polworth. And then I think I have 6 different Polworth blends. And so we're going to walk through one. Okay, what's the base wool? That's Polworth. What do you expect when you spin Polworth? And I often like make the analogy of like spinning 100% of any one fiber is like eating ingredients versus a meal. And so this is like the Polworth is chicken, and then we're going to have 6 different chicken meals and see how different they are depending on what other ingredients you add to the party. So we've got a Polworth mulberry silk. We've got Polworth tussa and a bast fiber. We've got Polworth and yak, Polworth yak and silk. I forget what else. All I know is that there are 6.
I'm trying to think, because you gave the analogy of chicken, I'm trying to think of all the different chicken dishes they might be. So I'm like, one's chicken tikka masala, one's fried chicken, one's...
Cordon bleu,
There you go.
chicken Kiev, fried chicken,
I already said that.
hot chicken. And so it really is about like, and also understanding like what, is there a difference between spinning something that's like an 80-20 wool silk versus a 60-40 wool silk? Because I think a lot of people get caught into, oh, I spun a silk blend once and I didn't like it.
Right.
And then they're like, I don't like spinning silk blends. And they're not making a distinction between mulberry silk versus tussa silk, which behave very differently. And so depending what's in those blends, it might change what draft you might use. It might change what your expectation is of what kind of yarn you want to create from it. So that's what that class is going to be. I have lots of things to say about blends, and I've never really... I get asked about it a lot, but I've never taught a blend-specific class before.
Well, now you will.
Now I will.
The Ninny Bean, by the way, says that Polworth yak silk you've had in the shop is amazing.
Yeah, but it's gone now. It is a casualty of tariffs.
Any of your silk blends,
Yes, right? Any of the silk blends. There might be some silk that comes through, but it's going to be very different than how things used to be. And then I'm teaching a class on fiber speed dating breeds edition. So I've taught a blends edition before. So we'll spin through 9 different fibers. You don't know what you're spinning. You go in blind with each one. And then the fun is you guys get to guess. And we're going to talk about like approaching a fiber that, what do you do when you don't know what it is? When you're coming in blind, and be like, you know, how does it spin? How does it like to be spun? Let's try a couple different ways. Let's look at the staple length. Let's look at the crimp. How does that inform our spinning? And then we'll, because this is breeds edition, we'll learn a little bit about the breeds. And there's a whole bunch of rare breeds and stuff I don't think anybody's going to guess. I will be surprised with some of these if people guess them. So that's the fiber speed dating. And then the last class is short stapled fibers, which is always a fun class because I don't take the approach of that spinning short stapled fibers is just about spinning luxury fibers. We really are just talking about fibers usually 2.5 inch staple length or less, and how that changes how you want to spin them, how you want to prep them, what tools you want to use, what techniques. And we spin everything from short stapled fleece, because sometimes you get a tippy fleece or a lamb fleece that's a short staple, to spinning cotton, to spinning luxury fibers, to spinning luxury fiber blends. And then I even do crazy stuff like we throw in spinning sari silk, because it's a recycled fiber. It's very short stapled. And even the thing I say is in that class, even if you never spin a short stapled fiber, you will learn stuff in that class that will affect everything you do. Because sometimes it's spinning at the extreme. It forces you out of some bad habits sometimes. You can't be lazy. You can't be ignorant or like ignore stuff.
Lipstick Lawyer says, thanks, Jill. I'm taking the short stapled fiber with you, but I'm signing up for the fiber blends class now.
Good.
Knitted Bean says, I know, sad face. Not sure what it was in reference to, but Red says, glad I nabbed some of that blend Polworth Yak silk. It's luscious.
I do have merino yak silk in the shop now, and the current batch is lovely. It's better than previous batches of merino yak silk I've had, but it is also a limited supply. Once my current supply is gone, I don't know where to get more.
Diane says that she signed up for some fiber blends as well and is already taking a short stapled. And Red says, Amber, you will love the blends class.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I have to finish spinning samples of all the blends. I think I've spun all of them. Do I have like sample skeins of them that I can share with class? No.
Right. Yeah. Well, you got to finish your other article first.
Yes.
You got a little.
I got to do that tomorrow.
You got a little bit of a cue.
I'm writing an article on cotton for weft.
And you say you've got no ADHD.
No, I'm just hopelessly overcommitted.
That's true. Speaking of neurodivergence.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the new fragrance for introverts?
No.
Yeah, it's a cologne. It's called Leave Me the Pho. Oh, you already got the full sentence there. All right. I'll leave this a PG-rated podcast. Well, except for my comment previously. And Laura Lindemann, by the way, says, feel that in my soul, overcommitted. In case you guys didn't get the joke.
People ask me to talk about fiber stuff, and I can't say no.
Do what you love.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back here now, same bat time, same bat channel.
8 p.m. Sunday evening.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks. Bye.